Okay, I've got my write-in votes here. Number 1, writing in Sonia Kent. She's a humanitarian. Number 2, Anthony Jameson. He's humanitarian. Number 3, another female, Nina Joyner. She's an independent running for Congress as a write-in Oakland. She is not only going to be on our team, but she's also running for U.S. Congress in Oakland, California. Okay, number 4, a male, B.J. Jordan, Dallas Cowboys party. That's his party name, Dallas Cowboys. Well, I guess I'll vote for my gubernatorial candidate. Republican Party. I'm voting for her because she's the only female Republican, and the female Republican Democratic candidates for governor, there's 2, but they could split the vote, so a male might likely win. But with the Republican Party, there's only 1 female, so I'm voting for her, Yvonne Girard. Nicholas Wildstar, Libertarian Party. Number 7, a female. Well, I don't have a write-in, so I'll have to pick one that's not a write-in on the ballot. Here's the ballot. I'll just randomly pick a female at number 7 will be Anarchist Party, Cherish Prieditis. She's female. 15, a lot much quicker now. 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. It's better if you keep them in consecutive order for the vote counting. 21, 22, 23, 24. Certain odd ones can be out of ranking, but go ahead and just keep them all enumerated rather than skip all around, because we have to search when we count the votes. You'll see, we'll be doing the vote counting shortly. So I'm going to continue this. Hope you like it. Everybody come and vote. We're going to have speakers here at 3 o'clock. Okay, welcome, and Mr.
Escalona.
From Canada, and you live in California.
Yes, on the Monterey Peninsula.
You can vote on our ballot. Go ahead and write your own name, number 1.
Oh, right here?
Yes,
okay, okay.
Right now, very fast. We don't have a lot of time. And you put in number 1 by your own name.
Yes. On the left or the right?
On the left of your name.
Okay, and then
turn it over, and then there's a form where you sign it.
Okay, just turn it over. Turn the sheet over. There's a bug.
Please, do you have your ID, and is there any way that our viewers can confirm?
No, you're just gonna have, because my ID is about 1.25 miles down that way, because I forgot it.
It's okay.
My name is John Gilchrist Escalona.
That's a cool name.
And I've signed that other thing. That's a cool name, but it's also my real name.
Okay.
My middle name is my mother's maiden name.
Now, did you have you can put a political party or a free speech word or independent by your name. Do you have any declared
I know what
word?
Die Grünen are. I know what the Green Party is, because when I was going to school in Darmstadt, Germany in 1981, I found out about the Greens, the Green Party.
Well,
they're environmentalists.
If you put your name number 1, you might get more votes than the top female. Would you rather have yourself or a female as the leader?
Mark Hinkle? and Delane Easton and somebody named
no,
Thurman.
talking about the Green
I'm
Party.
potentially related to some of these people.
For the
And
Green Party, do you want to be the leader, or do you want a female to be the leader?
I want to be the leader.
You do? Okay, well, you're... One of our candidates called in late, so I'll go ahead and start making duplicates of the ballots. It's a lot of work. But Don Grundman with the Constitution Party for U.S. Senate. We have Libertarian Mark Hurd. He ran for U.S. Senate against you 2 years ago.
Yeah.
He's on the phone live. We're at the Earth Day Festival. Hi, Mark. Thank you for attending.
Hey, you're doing a great job, James.
You're on speakerphone. We just wanted to call you. The leader of the Green Party stopped by. He voted for his name. So he preferred a male himself. But thank you for keeping in touch. We'll try to read the email. I'll do a post. I just did a live update on Ballot Access News and commented that the Constitution Party leader was on his way. He called. He went to the wrong town, but now he's here. So we're going to do he's going to speak now. Go ahead, just before he speaks, do you want to say anything to each other? Go ahead and talk.
Yeah, good luck, guys. You're doing an incredible job for America. You're making America great again. I appreciate it.
Well, thank you, Mark.
The system is good thanks to you guys.
Dr. Don Grundman, and he is proving of his identification as required. He's going to be showing his ID here. We're zooming in, trying to read it.
I'm Grundman. I'm the chairman of the Constitution Party here in California, and I'm speaking to you courtesy of Mr. James Ogle today, who has invited me to his all-party system to be able to speak regarding the U.S. Senate campaign coming up. And in regard to that, my main issue, there are many issues which you'll find on my website of fightthepower.org, which is fight-the-power.org. So there are many, many issues, but the one I'm highlighting first of all in this particular campaign is calling for a national ban on the transgender mutilation of children. And basically the idea is that there is no such thing as transgender. What there are is broken people who pretend to be the opposite sex and even mutilate themselves to try to accomplish that objective, which is impossible. When we are born a man or a woman, we are born a man or a woman, and we cannot imagine ourselves to be anything else. It won't change us, and we can't especially change our DNA. Now, the difficulty with this is that even though adults in our constitutional republic, we're free to be psychotic if we wish, as long as we don't hurt ourselves or other people. But we have no right to teach children that this is a normal, natural, or healthy state of being to try to mutilate themselves into another sex or even pretend to be. So the great objective of my campaign is to bring this forth as that we cannot teach children any longer that this is a normal thing to try to accomplish. We must tell them that we must have a love for these people, that this is a pathology, we will help them get better, but we have no right to teach our children that what's happening to these individuals who call themselves transgender is normal and natural, and therefore that the children should copy or emulate that. This is an idea which is spreading throughout our country, and actually it's a very sick idea. And we need to be able to confront it realistically instead of saying it's an alternative lifestyle, which it is in that sense. Sickness is an alternative lifestyle. But we have to be able to be honest with people, honest with ourselves, and especially honest with our children for the future, because the idea of the transgender includes many, many different things. Even boys using the girls' bathroom and girls using the boys' bathroom because they claim that they're the other sex. Now, this is a psychological sickness. We have to look at it, it's actually more than that, it's a spiritual sickness. We have to have enough love, real true love, to be able to confront these people and say, this is wrong and you need some help, as compared to teaching our children that it's normal and natural. So that the great objective of my campaign is to have a national ban on this mutilation of children. It must be started somewhere, and so my campaign is to start that ban, and hopefully we can save many children from the indoctrination of so-called transgenderism, that it's normal. There are many other campaign things that I'm working on, campaign issues, the fraud of global warming, the sky, in regard to that, the sky is not falling. The temperatures on our Earth are actually, they follow the rise of CO2. CO2, actually, excuse me, temperature rises and then CO2 rises after that. That's the scientific idea, or the scientific facts regarding the relationship between temperature and carbon dioxide, which is a absolutely necessary gas for our life here on Earth. And if we're talking about global warming, 95%, over 95% of the so-called greenhouse gases are water vapor. Now, if we wanted to so-called control global warming, we could say we put a ban on water vapor, which would expose how stupid the idea of global warming is. The whole thing is what's called social engineering, just as transgenderism is. Social engineering is to create a mass movement of the citizens. And the idea is that we are all being treated like lab rats or mice, and we can be herded any way that the social engineers or advertisers wish us to go in order to control us. So the idea of my campaign is to expose this social engineering and to confront it and say no more. We need to be a free people again who can rationally think instead of claiming the sky is falling. And you'll also find in that context that proponents of global warming will never debate the issue. Someone like myself, I'm a doctor of chiropractic, and I could easily destroy their arguments, but they will never do that because they realize the reality that they would be slaughtered in a debate. So they always refuse to debate, but that's one way they keep the scam going. So this is a scam which is swindling our citizens to put ever more laws on them to control their lives, not only now but in the future generations. We're going to be strangled by regulations which control what type of cars we drive, many other things. And just remember also one other thing. If you're told that your carbon footprint is excessive and that you need to have a program to control that carbon footprint and that you'll save the earth if you do, one volcano going off, much less all the volcanoes around the world, will blow the hell out of all your carbon savings that you'll possibly have. So it is totally a fake, a fraud, a lie, a hoax. And we have to realize that we're being lied to by the people behind social engineering. We have to stand up and defend ourselves against these literal criminals who are trying to control our lives and especially the lives of our children. And also, as an additional prospect of my campaign, please check out the idea of nationalizing the Federal Reserve. Essentially, what you have is a quick synopsis. If you look in your wallet right now, the green coupons which you have, which say Federal Reserve notes on them, are actually what's called debt money. There's a process now where the Federal Reserve Bank is not actually federal. It is a private banking cartel, just like Don's bank, your bank, Joe Blow's bank. And so the government has given over its right to issue currency to the private banking cartel, which I call the American Mafia. And now that cartel loans money to the government, which puts it into circulation, which you have in your wallet. But now we pay interest on that money. That's why it's called debt money. And the interest is why you pay income tax. In order to pay that tax goes to the cartel, the mob, which controls the central bank. Now we'll call that situation number one. And number A, where we have the mob and the bank and the people. What we should have is situation number two, where we cut out the middleman, cut off the mob. And now the Treasury, on the sovereign authority of the government, issues what are called United States notes, which are interest-free. We don't have to pay the mob anymore once we issue United States notes. So imagine that you didn't have to pay the income tax, the fantastic prosperity that we will have when we save all the time trying to grovel and beg to the IRS to get whatever deductions we can, when we're actually groveling to the mob. So we don't need to do that. Our nation became the #1 nation in the world without an income tax, if you study the history. But the parasites, the mob, they attached themselves, they stole the sovereign right to issue currency from the government. And now for many years, we've been paying the mob, the Federal Reserve System, and we don't even know it because that's been sterile. All this knowledge that I just mentioned in the last few sentences has been sterilized out of our educational knowledge. There were great battles regarding who issued our currency in the beginning of the nation, but since the mob has taken over, all that is gone. And that's why you are a slave. When you pay your income tax, you are a slave to the mob, the American Mafia. And they send their leg breakers, the IRS, just like Luca Brasi in the Godfather movies. These are mobsters. They send the financial leg breakers to break you if you don't volunteer. And actually, go to livefreenow.org, and take the $300,000 challenge on the income tax. And you'll find that you voluntarily pay the income tax because there is no law which requires an American working in America to either file a tax return or pay income tax. But if you don't volunteer, the IRS will send their Luca Brasi leg breakers to break you financially. So that's how the mob keeps you and all of us in control. And we don't even realize that we're under control of the mob. So what I'm talking about is true economic freedom for you, not only from not paying the income tax, but because the continually depreciating dollar, because the Federal Reserve is draining money all the time. The value of the dollar now is 1 cent compared to 100 years ago when it was 100 cents per dollar. So that's why our costs are always going up and up and up. A Corvette costs not only $4,000 anymore, but $40,000, $80,000, far more, because of the depreciating dollar. And that's why you can't afford health care. That's why you have to have 2 people working in the family, because your currency is depreciating how much it can buy. So what I'm doing is addressing the main issue to nationalize the Federal Reserve, cut out the mob person middleman, and then we'll be free of the mob, and you'll have a stable currency which won't lose value, and that's when we can afford all the things we should be able to afford to now, such as healthcare, education, and everything else. But we can't because of the ever depreciating dollar. So please visit my website, fightthepower.org, and you're welcome to correspond with me there. I thank you for your time now, and just remember, we have to save our children from the transgender mutilation. There is no global warming. It is a complete scientific fraud which can be easily proven. I can prove it. And anybody who wants to debate me, I challenge you to a debate, and I'll wax the floor with you essentially, because I can expose it totally what a fraud it is. And then nationalize the Federal Reserve to save our currency, save ourselves from the American mafia of the Federal Reserve private banking cartel. Remember that. It's a private banking cartel, just like the mafia. And so they've taken over control of our government. So we want to get rid of them and get a stable currency, United States interest-free notes, and no more Federal Reserve debt money. Thank you for your time, and God bless you. God bless America.
You may vote for as many names as you wish, but you can only put the numeral 1 by your first one.
And so there's like 250 people and you've got to rank them. You cannot use the same number twice. You can't be like 1, 1, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 3.
We're extending the deadline. Normally we would end at 4, because at 4:20 everybody leaves.
I bet.
So we're extending it if you want to finish. I don't know if he wants to, but he may, or just only you. All the voting is done.
Yeah.
Okay. That lady just voted. Okay. That's a spoiled ballot. Okay. This one's mine. Here's my name. Okay. That's a copy of mine, and that's a copy of mine. I made 2 copies because I had a lot of time. And then this person also voted. Okay. That's a spoiled. You don't have to count that. So what else voted right here? That was the Green Party guy. He elected himself as the leader of the Green Party. He just moved here from Canada. And there's no more ballots. There's just basically these that aren't marked, right?
Yeah.
Camera's on. Okay. Okay, so these are not ballots. This is a spoiled, no good. These are my own extra copies for the masters. Those are, count how many there are, okay?
4.
Really? Okay, come out.
4, yeah.
Could you say it a little louder? This is an important announcement.
4.
There are 4 ballots cast, paper ballots. Closer.
Oh.
Yeah, right under the camera.
Oh, okay.
Those are all 4?
Yep, that's 4.
Okay. Let's do it. Let's see. Don't let it blow away.
Okay.
Okay. So, These are the master ballots. We're going to make 2 master ballots. And basically, the master ballot already matches mine. Check and see if they all match. Okay? Then we just add these onto 2 of those, right? So they look okay, and then these are the write-ins on the very back.
Okay.
See? My write-ins are on the very back.
Okay.
They're all the same. Okay, so, okay. Here's one master, here's another master, here's my vote. Okay, so we counted that one, right? Check off 1. 1. Okay. Now, we got another one. Oh shit.
Yeah.
Excuse me. She numbered quite a few. It's going to take a long time. Okay? But these are the 2 we haven't counted. Hers is going to take a long time. Okay, and she wrote in a new one. So we put it on the back with write-ins. L-O-R-I-S-C-H-O-F E-A-U-E-S L-O-R-I-C-H-O-F. And she put number 18. But that's the idea, see? What do you think? Should we go ahead and just finish this up?
Oh.
How much time do you have? Okay. Page 2. She got Nora Wells. She got a 1, 2, 3, 5, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 5, 4. Okay. And then Pablo Elizondo. Is it in the camera okay?
Yeah.
6, 7, 8. And Roseanne Barr got a 9. And Steve Stokes got a 10. So these are the new ones in this column. Okay. Gotta do it on this one too. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now, 7. 7, 8. 9 goes to Roseanne Barr, and 10 to Steve Stokes. Okay. Whew! See what I mean? This is hard. Very hard work. So, 2 ballots, 2 masters. I mean, we're only on our 2nd ballot. Man, hard work. Wrong page. But you get the idea. Oh man. Okay, I gotta struggle because this is probably the most difficult ballot because she ranks so many. You see. Okay, I got those. Then on this page, I see one with Lucia Goin first. And it's like this, see, and Laura Scagliarini gets an 11, Karen Schatzel gets a 12, and Pamela Brown gets a 13, Christy Stone gets a 14, same on this one. Loris gets an 11. He gets a 12. See, 12, 77. A 13 and a 110. 14 and a 114. So we got them both. Now we just turn it over to the next page. There's only two. 15, 16, 17, 15, 16, 17. That's it, because she put her own name, Lori Schiffbauer, as number 18. Lori Schiffbauer's Bauer. Not applicable. Okay, so that's the second one down. Now, the third and fourth are going to be a little easier, because this guy only voted for one person himself. What an egomaniac. Green Party. I'm just kidding, no. Anyway, that's who he wanted to vote for. And we give him his freedom to do that. John Gilchrist. Green. Oh, Escalona. Green Party. And he got a number 1. We make 2 copies. We're doing 2 master ballots, of course. There. But he didn't vote for anyone else, see? His email, his phone number, he joined. So the last one is the chairman of the Constitutional Party. And he told me he only voted for 3 people. I wish you could have been here, David. We got some excellent video. He voted number 1 for his name, which is Don Grudman, Constitution. But he'll be on the ballot as no party preference. And he got a 1. And a 2 by Tim Gildersleeve, who couldn't make it today. He's with the Christocratic. And the Christocratic and the Democratic are like this. Yeah, so they're competing, you know.
Okay.
Or we're all working together, really. It's a better way to say it. Okay, so the third one he voted for was Herb Peters, Democratic, number 3. Herb Peters got a little boost there. So, Herb Peters. Oh. First page, I found it. 3. Now both master ballots have all of his 3, and that's all. The total vote count is completed, folks. Now we just group these on the main page alphabetically with party, like the biggest party at the top. That's all. We'll be back in just a few minutes. It'll be all done and uploaded to the computer. Happy Earth Day. And thanks. We had great speakers. I hope you liked the show.